Today, I find myself faced with the question, are ready-mades art? I thought about it for a moment and understood that the art community has accepted them as such, but I, however, have to disagree. So instead, I ask, why are ready-mades considered art? To discuss this question further, we first need to look at what ready-mades are. It wasn't until 1917 when Marcel Duchamp entered an exhibition in New York that claimed that they would consider anything for the exhibit. He submitted a piece with the title Fountain. It was a manufactured enamel urinal on a pedestal with the signature R. Mutt. His piece was rejected until a later exhibition was held, and after opinions changed and open-mindedness was brought to the table, it was accepted. This became the very first ready-made. So, what makes it art? How does this urinal differ in any way from that of a urinal still in the hardware store, or from the ones installed already on the men's washroom wall? Duchamp stated that his intent of the urinal was to shift the focus of art from physical craft to intellectual interpretation. He explains that the symbolic meaning is more important than the aesthetic value. From this statement, we are brought to view ready-mades with the sense of an aesthetic attitude in mind. It is how we view the piece and how it makes us feel, or better yet, how it doesn't make us feel. Critics are still uncertain if Duchamp entered the exhibit in full seriousness or to test their statement of considering anything. However, in either case, the art world took to this idea too seriously. Many other artists who fell alongside Duchamp adopted the ready-made approach and continued to create their pieces by taking ordinary manufactured objects and altering them in the slightest way before calling them art. But how can the artist take an already manufactured item from the store, place it in a gallery, and consider these pieces art? It is defined ready-made due to the object having been designed and made entirely by someone else, so how can the artist take credit for the object that they simply took and placed in a new setting? Ever since modern art has been introduced, we have lost our patience of skill and our attention to detail. We have allowed avant-garde artists to take the traditions of art, toss them aside, and take art to the edge. We have also allowed for the galleries to now define what is art and what is not. If you were to place a ready-made such as Tracey Emin's My Bed in a different setting from an art gallery, but still kept it in a public place, not many bystanders would consider the piece to be art. It would look as though someone moved their bedroom to the streets and gave up on it. Ready-mades need that sense of security and reinforcement of the art gallery in order to keep the viewer's interest. Artists of the ready-mades have also reached a new level with the meaning behind the pieces they create. Consider Michael Craig Martin's piece titled An Oak Tree. It is nothing more than a simple glass shelf with a simple glass of water and an attached reading to explain the piece. Without the reading to explain, and leaving it with just the title, I do not believe anyone other than Martin himself would understand. He claims that the piece uses religious faith as a metaphor, just as how the Catholic believes that bread and wine are the body and blood of Christ, while retaining their appearances of bread and wine. But how are we supposed to compare a cup of water on a shelf to that of an oak tree? What is it that we are comparing? At this point, we're looking past the art piece itself and more instead at the artist and the symbolic meaning behind it, which would then make ready-mades the final step before art steps into the philosophical realm altogether. I myself believe that they are already the first step into this realm.